Okay, so we need to talk about this Paramount Skydance UFC 7.7 billion 7-year deal. My name's RevSauce9. Got a mouth, got an opinion, and I like to keep it raw. I like to keep it uncut and unbiased. And some people think I'm your favorite commentator's commentator. So make sure to rate, like, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. Also, check out all my other video platforms. So TKO kind of redeemed themselves yesterday because that WWE deal they made was pretty much trash. Let's just keep it a buck. It was trash. $30 a month when I could just go over to Netflix, their other partner, and get it for cheaper, as long as I have a VPN. So that deal was trash, and that was disappointing. Now, TKO redeems themselves. Mark Shapiro came out and saying pay-per-views and whatnot are going to be in this deal included per year, which is a win-win for people like me that really didn't watch UFC for a while because of their pay-per-view model. I didn't like that at all. And then they made it very, very difficult to watch their shit on ESPN. So I'm glad they're going away from ESPN starting next year. This deal is $1 billion a year, or $1.1 billion a year. This is post Skydance merger. So Paramount is now Paramount Skydance. They say a Skydance company down below now. This is that requires the rights. I'll put the article down below. You guys can read it for yourself. It puts it in perspective. They agreed for all 43 annual UFC pay-per-views. That's why the amount was so large. And by the way, UFC is the bigger entity within this TKO Holdings group. So in the portfolio of everything, it goes UFC, then it goes WWE, then it goes their bull riding, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Endeavor owns a lot of things. So now Endeavor is now TKO. So when you talk Endeavor, it's TKO. So TKO, Artie Emanuel's the CEO. He's everything. So he's happy about this deal. Literally, you're going to get all the pay-per-views. You're going to get everything. And it looks like UFC was not happy with what was going on with the Disney deal. So they weren't really happy with the idea of buying pay-per-views, people buying pay-per-views. They said that model is outdated and it should be abolished. That's what Shapiro says. But it's very lucrative because AEW does this. And eventually I think AEW is going to go the way of they include everything per year. They're going to have to, because you're asking people to spend on a streaming service and then you're asking them to buy pay-per-views. It gets a little pricey per year, and I think a lot of these sporting leagues are realizing that they need to partner up with streaming services, and the streaming service needs something to offer the consumer. That's why you're seeing ESPN doing everything in their power. They probably knew they were going to lose UFC. They probably knew that. That's why they made a deal as they did, is so quick with WWE in the last week. Do I like that model? Hell no. I think TKO screwed themselves. They shot themselves in the foot. I think they could have kept shopping around and they could have got a better deal. But, I'm not TKO and I'm not Artie Emanuel and I'm not Nick Khan. I don't make choices, but they made a stupid choice going to ESPN, in my opinion. $30 a month, I get it. If you're a sports person and you want to watch original programming like the Pat McAfee show, The First Take, you want to watch Monday Night Football, and you don't have a cable subscription or a streaming TV service subscription, I get that. Cable TV is dying. That's why streaming TVs like Fubo, Spectrum, DirecTV Stream, Comcast, all these people are getting into this, and they're trying to get all these streaming services because that's where it's coming down to. They're trying to make deals as much as they can. With this, does Paramount Plus go up? Yes, I do think they will. Do I think it's going to be $30 a month? Hell no, I don't think so, because that would cannibalize their market. I think it goes from what it is now, a couple of bucks. Streaming services have got to make their money somewhere on the back end. They got to make it somewhere on the back end, right? When they're signing big deals and they're making huge amount of deals, they have to do something to make that back, right? When Comcast does what they do, they were saying they're going up with Peacock, right? And then Peacock is also talking about merging or working something with Paramount Plus. So that's also in the works. So it's a win-win all around. This UFC deal is going to be a beneficial thing for Peacock and beneficial for Paramount Skydance. I do. Because think about it. If Paramount partners with Comcast, they also get UFC. Imagine, see the big picture, see how this deal is going to work out beneficially for everybody when they buy the rights and everything. So that, I think UFC made a better deal than WWE. I think getting off of ESPN, getting off of Disney's product is going to be better for UFC. Now, if you didn't know, Paramount did have mixed fighting. They did have their own stuff. I think they have Victus, and I think they have Invictus or something like that. They had bare knuckle fighting. I think that's more on TNT now, I think. Or I could be wrong. I get confused between these sports leagues. I do know that boxing's over on Paramount still on Showtime because Paramount owns Showtime. Or that may be swallowed into Paramount Plus as a special thing. That pay-per-view model and things like that is coming to an end too. So Paramount, Peacock or Comcast, Netflix, all these people are trying to wrap in sports because that's number one in the States right now. Sports is a big deal in the States more than anything else. It drives in the views. That's why you're seeing more of the NFL going to each app and giving them something. That's why you're seeing the NBA do it. Now you're starting to see it with UFC. Their model wasn't working. People weren't buying. Year-on-year pay-per-view buys are going down. People are, right now with the economic climate, people are more focusing on putting food on their table than buying pay-per-views. AEW is going through that, and I eventually see AEW giving away their pay-per-views the same way here. I think they'll reconstruct their deal with Warner Brothers Discovery to make that happen. I can honestly see when their deal is up in the next 3 years, them going somewhere else for their time, AEW. I do. I think AEW should go somewhere and offer their pay-per-views. I think in Amazon, I honestly think if Paramount wanted to, they can get into wrestling. I think that's what they're going to do next. I think they're going to offer, because I heard rumors of, I was reading rumors of TNA going to either A&E or going to one of the Paramount networks. So, or being on Paramount Plus. I wouldn't be surprised if TNA made a big deal, a big splash, because they've been looking at TV deals and they've been getting pretty popular in the States. I've also heard MLW, so Paramount's trying to stack their lineup. What it looks like. And also TNA used to be on Paramount. They used to be on MTV, Spike TV, which was literally Paramount. Paramount's now a Skydance. People are going to say, oh, it's this and that. It's this driven because of Dana White and blah, 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 blah. I don't get into those analytics like that. I don't get in the weeds like that, But I think this is a win-win for people that like, MMA type style fighting and boxing and things like that. I think it's a win-win all around. It's a win for me. I don't have to go do workarounds anymore. I can watch it in one place and be happy. I have Paramount. It's included with Walmart. I get that. I don't mind dealing with some ads to watch pay-per-views. And I'm hoping that they don't make me have to buy a new tier just to watch that, like what ESPN's doing. And we still don't even know about ESPN, how that's going to work with WWE going forward. I feel bad for the people that bought pay-per-views over on ESPN because this kind of fucks you over, to rewatch them and whatnot. I don't know how ESPN's going to keep the libraries and whatnot. I don't know how is UFC post stuff, the libraries and stuff going over. How's the Endeavor Network going to work going forward? There's a lot of moving parts here too. So, but yeah, I think this is a win-win. If you have Paramount Plus, I like Paramount Plus. I watch a lot of things on Paramount and stuff like that. So anyway, my name is RevSauce9. I will see you guys. I'll have an article down below. You can read for yourself. I agree with Shapiro. The pay-per-view model is dead. Nobody's buying pay-per-view buys anymore to buy. You're not spending $40, $60 anymore. You're buying a streaming service and getting stuff included for that money. And I agree with that. You know, if the NBA's doing it, the NHL's doing it, MLB just they're trying to consolidate their stuff into one app so you can watch it all in one place and pick and choose what you want to watch. You're seeing it with Spectrum. You're seeing it with all these different apps. And, you know, eventually it's going to become pricey. It's going to become, it reminds me back in the 90s when I was a kid, you had so many different cable providers offering so many different packages. And you either went with one because they had this one, offered that, or you found a way to get it. Streaming services are becoming that way. It's getting interesting. You know, there will be some type of regulation coming soon because these streaming TV services and streaming services, they're buying so much stuff. And, you know, I just feel like, is Paramount going to up their price because of this? That's the question. They say they're not. They say they're going to keep to the same pricing skew and keep people happy, but I just don't see it. I just don't. My name is RevSauce9. These are my thoughts on the Paramount Skydance buying the UFC stuff. I thought I would talk about it. I thought it was interesting to talk about real quick. I think it's a win-win for everybody that likes UFC. If you have Paramount Plus, it's a win-win. Now I could do watch parties. Now I can actually watch UFC without feeling like I have to go somewhere or feel dirty for going somewhere else that I'm not supposed to go to watch it. And I fell out of love with UFC, but now this gives me a reason to start watching it again. So there you go. Anyway, my name is RevSauce9. Let me know down below what you think of the merger deal, so on. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.